Sadiq Khan is in trouble after the Mayor of London's website claimed a photograph of a white family did not reflect true London. Is it true or is it false?
Did you see this story?
I did.
Yeah, it's literally been everywhere over the last couple of days, hasn't it? That finally there was the kind of innate racism of Sadiq Khan has been shown for everyone to see now. I think is it undeniable that this is clearly anti-white. There's no getting around it. And I do think the mayor should really consider his position moving forward. I think, don't get me wrong, these style guides, as they're called, exist in PR basically to kind of how you market a product or a person. So don't get me wrong, Kit Rishi. Sunak will have one, Keir Starmer will have one. But this one was very clearly, in my opinion, anti-white, and I do think he should start to hold his hands up and either apologise or consider his position.
Why was it on the website? I'm just interested what context it was on the website.
Well, I think that's a really good question because I just presumed it was some kind of mistake. I actually thought it was like a leaked email, like some kind of somebody's gone rogue in his office or something. Because normally these things are kept very under wraps. Like like only about 9 or 10 people around a major politician would ever have access to something like that.
So here's what to do. Prosecute the pants off him under the equality legislation.
Absolutely.
The way to deal with these woke jokes is to use their own legislation against them. Lock him up. That's
and throw away that key. And I mean, look, on a serious note, Ben, do you think that is this anti-white culture is something that is a vote winner in London?
I don't think it's a vote winner anywhere, but we're made to believe that it is, isn't it? And that's the way that we should think, and we should apologise for what we are and where we've come from. And it's a very dangerous sort of situation that we are sleepwalking through at the moment.
I happen to agree. I think it's divisiveness for the sake of divisiveness. I often think if Martin Luther King was alive today, I think he would actually look at the way that the many anti-racism protests are these days and actually look in horror. You know, how far have we fallen from, you know, judged by the content of your character, not the colour of your skin? How far have we fallen from the message, which basically was one of the major contributing factors to ending racism in America?
But Lois, I look at it now. One of the greatest cultural exports, or the recent cultural exports from the United States of America, is Black Lives Matter.
I know.
This concept of having a race war, this concept where everything is about the colour of your skin, not the contents of your character. I find it extraordinary.
Well, it is extraordinary because it creates segregation. So you've got something that's supposed to be representative of, you know, Black Lives Matter and is supposed to have come out of the roots of the 1950s and all of that big struggle, 1960s struggle in America, and then we're going right back to segregation again. Black-only, university campuses, black-only theatre performances. How is this progress? I don't see it as progress at all, actually.
Well, again, it's against the law, and the Catholic Church has the answer to this. And
Are you going to say that a lot during this?
Yes, and so does the Jewish religion, because that's where we got it from.
OK.
For here on earth, just as in heaven above, there stands but one commandment, thou shalt love. And if we love one another, it doesn't matter whether we've got a hereditary suntan or not, or whether we have acquired a suntan, as I have, by walking for 3 weeks in the hills of Scotland. Amazingly, the sun shone.
And did you get many midgie bites?
No, because I'm a Catholic. Did you know?
So you and Andre are OK, then?
Did you know, if you go to a sung high mass with incense, I used to be the censer. You had this great thing on a chain with a charcoal and you put incense on it and these fumes come out. They get into your skin. They leave a signature for 6 months. No midge will come near it. Well, but do you know what they do?
But Lord Monckton, what does this have to do? I mean, are we thinking of giving Sadiq Khan benediction?
No, I think what would do him some good is a walking holiday in Scotland.
I agree.
Absolutely. But look, you know, this whole situation with Sadiq Khan, it just feels like he's constantly attacking people in London. I mean, the whole ULEZ thing has been a complete catastrophe.
I happen to agree here because I think there's been a thing going around social media that apparently London is a 55% non-white city. That is fundamentally untrue. This has been...
Is that completely untrue?
So if you look at the 2021 census, it's about 54 to 64. Sorry, 54 to 46.
Extra polling company, that's what worries me.
54 to 46, apologies. 54 to 46, a majority white here in London. So if that's not representative of London, then I don't know what is. What I also found quite nasty about this is there are families in London that have been around here for a very long time.
Yeah.
You know, and they've been around, like, you know, since day dot, really, since, you know. And I would just like to say that these people don't represent London, because they are the heart and soul of London.
They don't represent his London.
His London, and I think that's the point.
But when that chap Moz, who looked like Yul Brynner, didn't get the Conservative nomination, loads of people said to me, "Oh, this is ridiculous. We're never going to have a white mayor of London again. We must make sure we select an ethnic minority." And you think, well, hang on a second, isn't that slightly racist?
Oh, definitely.
Very racist. Yeah, for sure.
I think it's time that the left, which is where all this rubbish comes from, grew up and grew a pair and decided that it doesn't matter whether you are black or white or yellow or green or pink
or male or female
or pale blue with white stripes. It simply doesn't matter. It's what's inside you that matters. It's what is in your heart.
Yeah, but the problem is what's inside Sadiq Khan is a load of crap.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's
all
the
right.
content.
All we have to do is reduce the price of public conveniences, and there's something we can do. It really is time that we got rid of Sadiq Khan.
Yeah.
He is a liability to the left, and therefore, if you're not on the left, he's an asset, because he is losing votes the more he says all
What would Mrs.
this
Thatcher have
nonsense.
thought of Sadiq Khan? You know,
She
you knew
wouldn't
her.
have thought of Sadiq Khan.
She
She would have said, "Don't be so silly, dear."
No, she should have gone, "Don't be so silly."
You do it beautifully. Yeah.
There you go, that's an
So I think we better elect you as Prime Minister.
Do you know when I met her for the first time?
You got the breathing just right.
When I met her for the first time, I said, "Hello, Prime Minister, good to see you," because she liked being called Prime Minister even now.
Because she was.
And she said, "We didn't send our British men to fight those Germans and those Italians to be taken over by Belgium. British security is for NATO." Well, hello.
In English, we say good morning.
All I did was put out my hand. Yes, it's fair to say that Mrs. Thatcher wasn't big on small talk, was she?
No, she wasn't. And also, this kind of nonsense didn't happen on her watch.
No, it didn't.
No.
Yeah.
Because everybody knew that it was a grown-up government that didn't play these silly games. It didn't play to the gallery by saying, "Oh, we must shut down the British economy because of climate change," while China now emits more CO2 per head than we do. And do you hear any of the left-wing press? Where is that left-wing bunny with Just Stop Oil t-shirt on? You know,
but Lord Monckton, that is a reasonable point, because Margaret Thatcher was blamed for deindustrialisation in this country, but actually these were principally bankrupt state enterprises. She wanted heavy industry in this country and wouldn't have tolerated all this idea of taxing them out of existence.
No, and of course now you have a rather wonderful paradox, because you've got a Chinese-owned British Steel. It's now everything else, it's Chinese-owned, going cap in hand to the government, saying, because you have put electricity prices up so they're 6 times what they are in China, 600% more than what they are in China. Actually, 500% more, because Peter there is a bit mathematically challenged.
I'm not going to let this down for the rest of the show, am I?
You can leave now. Get away from here on. I tell you, we're on a roll here.
They need the subsidies. But look, I'm going to move on now, because we're only on question 1. Has Sadiq Khan's website said that white people shouldn't appear on the grounds it doesn't reflect London? Is it true or is it false?
Be true.
It's true.
It's absolutely true. And now the next question is the easiest one in the world.
Okay.
New Home Office guidelines say migrants...
True.
Home Office guidelines. Bound to be true.
Just wait.
Sorry.
New Home Office guidelines say migrants can lie on their applications and don't have to answer every question. Is it true or is it false?
Well, you have to come to our government representative, which is me, I think.
Okay.
And
Shall I just leave now?
yes,
Get my ironing done.
The answer is that if it's the Home Office, which is the second worst and most communistic government department after the Education Department, which is the worst of the lot, it is almost certainly true, at least around the edges. I don't think the guidelines will quite say you are encouraged to lie. What they will probably say, and this is very typical of the
you
Home
can
Office,
omit certain
is
questions.
that, no. Is that, no doubt they'll say that, but they'll say, if you ask a question and the interviewee doesn't want to answer,
their rights.
then he doesn't have to answer. And of course, on that basis, you can't do anything with the Home Office. You know, if you imagined what it would be like if they were to try to draft what a spade is.
Yeah.
And-
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, the civil service version of a spade.
OK, because you used to write for Yes Minister, but Sir Humphrey couldn't get his mouth
This
on this
particular one, I think he found a little odd. I may not be able to do it at my advanced age.
Good.
but anyway,
So what is a spade?
A spade? Well, of course, we wouldn't call a spade, Prime Minister. That's far too simple. No. We should call it a one-person-operated, manually controlled, foot-powered implement of simple and robust, yet adequately efficacious lignometallic composition, designated primarily, though by no means exclusively, for utilisation on the part of hourly paid operatives deployed in the agricultural, horticultural or constructional trades or industries, as the case may be, for purposes of carrying out such excavational tasks or duties as may, from time to time, be designated by supervisory grades as being necessary, desirable, expedient, apposite or germane with regard to the ongoing furtherance of the task or objective in hand, or on the other hand, underfoot, Prime Minister.
Hey!
Yeah.
I think you're going to say the answer's true.
I mean, it actually, just very quickly on that, having written for Yes Minister, do you know, Margaret Thatcher was always very nervous about the way the civil service were like Yes Minister. I suspect it's more true now than it was when the TV show was made.
It's true, isn't it? Well, we say that the Home Office think that, that anyone can lie on their forms. Should we say true?
Don't push it quite that far. What is true is that they.
But it's a true or false quiz.
No, but you have to realise in the civil service we do the nuances.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it is substantially true.
Right.
No, I'm
It's
sorry.
true, it's true,
Right.
it's true.
Sedate him.
True.
It's absolutely Now, what are the scores, Woke Wabbits?
Oh.
So, have you been Woke Wabbits?
I'm great, man.
Do you know what we did?
Do you know
Big
what?
from
Do you know what?
Just Stop
Something
Oil.
shocking. Hang on.
All the cameras gone.
Welcome back to That Was the Woke That Was.
OK, we just had to stop there for a second because Lord Monkton broke a camera in the studio. Right, it's the Woke Wabbits!
Welcome to the show. Do have a seat. Can I bring you a beer?
I don't drink. Drinking.
I need one.
I think what you should
toxic
do to
masculinity.
make up, sit on Lord Monkton's knee.
That works.
Go on. There we go. Right, now what are the scores, Woke Wabbits?
English.
Right.
OK.
I laid an egg for you.
OK. Woke Wabbit, to avoid a lawsuit, why don't you sit with me?
Yeah.
Why don't you sit with me, Woke Wabbit? Right, come here.
Yeah, I told you shouldn't go off with me, didn't I?
OK. Woke Wabbit, what are the scores?
I don't know anymore.
OK, let's give you 2 points and them 0.
Brilliant.
OK. I bet the House of Lords is less interested since he left. Okay.
We want a recount.
Prince William has refused to go to the Women's World Cup final in Australia because he said it was not environmentally friendly. Is it true or is it false?
Surely it's got to be because he just thinks it's a bit slower, isn't it? And he likes bloke sports instead.
Yeah, I actually.
Now, Ben, come on. You are the chairman. You are the chairman of UKIP, so you can be a little bit unpolitically correct. Women's football, is it actually any good?
No.
Oh, it's like watching Division 3 in Bristol Amateur League. It's pretty. It's pretty pedestrian, isn't it?
Did I read somewhere that the women's football team lost to a group of 15-year-old boys? did I read that? Is that right?
There is some truth in that. Yes,
Yeah.
that's absolutely true.
I thought that was astonishing.
But there is a great danger, Ben, on the serious note that we hear time and time again. In the move towards diversity, what happens is we end up undermining existing brands. So the Lionesses now want the same pay as the men's football team. But the problem is they don't bring in the revenue.
Yeah.
And so the risk is that we take money away from our successful men's team to waste money on unsuccessful women's team and neither do well.
I think that the great thing about women's football is that it's a lot more attractive to watch than men's football, speaking as a man. And the other thing is, it's a relatively new phenomenon.
Yes.
Suddenly,
Yeah.
we are allowing the lasses to do what the lads did. And so let's give them a chance. So I say, go Lionesses. I'm ashamed to say I didn't go to Australia to watch the final, but I would have liked to do it. And I think that Prince William ought to have made the time to do it. He is, after all, the president of the Football Association.
He is.
He is, yeah.
And if the Football Association is going to be taken seriously in a world in which women as well as men now play association football, and they, of course, they're not as strong as men. Of course, if you put them against 15-year-old lads, they'll lose. But, you know, allowing for the lasses being not as strong as we are, that's their misfortune. But if they play against each other as they do, you know, we could and should have beaten that Spanish team. We didn't, unfortunately.
Well, can I just interject there as a female and say that I think that women's football is complete crap.
That's really unfair, though, because, right,
Why?
in the next major tournament, though, if
Yeah.
we play our cards right,
Yeah.
based on the success of the Lionesses,
Yeah.
we can have a load of trans men failed footballers.
Oh, yeah!
So we're going to win, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're definitely going to win now. Surely.
But I'd like to say that Lord Monckton is the most unlikely feminist icon that
That
I've
was
ever
not an
met.
opinion I was expecting. But I think you picked up on a really interesting point there, that it is relatively new. And I do think, well, this is one of my problems I have with people trying to big up the sport bigger than it is
Yeah.
you're trying to make the sport run before it can walk. And I think this is why you're rubbing people up the wrong way, is trying to make it out like it is the most amazing thing, like it is an equal game to the
No
men's
one
game.
watches
But
And I
Andre
don't
got
think
it
that's right.
There are 7 million people, you know.
Yeah, but that's only
Yeah.
in the final of the World Cup. It's not normal football,
but
is
7
it?
million is still 7 million. I mean, come on, let's give the lasses.
Well, I will say one thing in defence of this. I think one thing that's been a real mistake in football is the way that it's really, really difficult for children and young people to get into stadiums like they used to.
Yeah.
I used to pop along to either Anfield or Goodson Park, pay maybe £5 to get in when I went to school in Liverpool. But now it's really difficult. The more live football that exists, the more of these tickets will be available, and that's got to be a good thing. But anyway, we were meant to be slagging off Prince William. Right. Is Prince William woke? Yes or no?
Yes.
Oh, he's
Yes.
woke as
The
you like.
king of
Yeah.
woke.
Okay. Is he as
way.
bad as his father in terms of wokeness?
No.
No.
No,
Okay. Is the question true or false? Do you want a reminder as to what it is?
Yeah, what was it?
So this is the thing, on the basis of climate change and all the rest of it, I don't think it's true. I think he was just on holiday, wasn't he?
Yeah,
If I
I
remember
don't-
from what I've read, I'm pretty sure he's just on holiday.
He
so-
just likes a quicker game.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll go false. We don't think this one's true.
It's absolutely true.
Oh my God, is it really?
We get the points on that one.
Be nice to the woke wagon
Right,
and we'll
the Advertising Standards Agency has said it wants to phase out heterosexual men in adverts by 2030. Is it true or is it false?
Right, I'm going to speak because otherwise Lord Monckton will speak for 20 minutes. Right, OK. Yes, I think that...
So are you calling him a windbag?
No, never. He's my very good friend, but I would like to speak.
I beg to move that in terms of standing order 31,
Shut it.
that
Shut
the
it.
ladyship be no longer heard.
Shut it.
Anyway, yeah, OK, it could be true, but I think it's probably false because I don't think that they would actually admit that.
Yeah.
But you know what? It probably is true on a very surreptitious, secret school
May I
level.
differ from
Oh,
you know,
no,
this
we're
team?
supposed to be on my team.
Yes, but you got
hang
it
a second,
wrong.
Lois.
I think it's true, and there is a way of dealing with that too. Since it is true that the Advertising
What
Standards
about if you're
Authority
wrong?
is, well, if I'm wrong, this would be unheard of. But if the Advertising Standards Authority is saying that it's going to not have
don't
any
think
more, I think it's pale, male and stale is what they
Yeah.
use.
Yeah.
People rather like me, basically.
Yes.
Any longer allowed to take part in advertising, then that is a criminal offence again under the
Again,
legislation.
it's a criminal
Although,
offence.
prosecute them, lock them up.
Although I do, Lois, I'm just going to say this to you. I mean, look.
Thank you.
Look, okay, no, but notwithstanding giving away the answer here.
No.
But let's be clear. I look at adverts now on the television all the time, and it has to be said that I think it's probably 50-50 between gay and straight couples, even in brand, like Findus or, just normal everyday brands. All of the adverts for mortgages seem to be gay couples, from what I can see.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be a representation of what is the majority. I won't say normal, but what is the majority, which will be white, straight couples. But I know you take the mickey out of me for mentioning this, but I will mention it just one more time. So my brothers are mixed race, right? And they reckon that the racism that they've experienced as mixed race boys has increased since they've been shown mad amounts of black people on adverts because it's so disproportionate. It's like, people are becoming resentful and angry about it. They think it's ridiculous.
But
they actually think it's ridiculous.
But we're also bringing up young black men to believe that the country is racist and they've got no opportunities, which, by the way, to anyone watching, watching is not true. But there appears to be dissension in the ranks. Is it true or is it false?
Do you not feel more comfortable, though, that your fish fingers are caught by non-binary fishermen?
Yeah, Sam Smith
I do.
catch my fish, yeah.
Has the Advertising Standards Agency said it's going to phase out heterosexual men on adverts by 2030? Is it true or is it false?
I'm going to say it's true, just to be
It's
different.
absolutely false! OK, what are the scores, Woke Rabbits?
Woo!
So, how's your week been?
It's been good. I just got back from Australia. I was watching the Women's World Cup.
But I thought you were very concerned about climate change and didn't like to fly.
Oh, I didn't fly. I swam.
Oh, okay. No problem. That makes perfect sense. OK, so do you like Lord Monckton or Lois Perry? Who's your favourite?
Lord Monkey. He's great.
It's a win, but do be charitable. You know, Lois is doing very well, really. Give her
Isn't she doing well?
OK, what are the scores then?
for a woman.
It's 1-0 to Monkey and Lois.
Hey!
That was The Woke That Was. Continues after the break. Welcome back to That Was The Woke That Was.
The world's top chess federation has banned transgender women from competing. Is it true or is it false? Now, I've got to say, Ben, I've got deep concerns about transgender women competing in women's sports. But chess wasn't one of the things I was thinking.
It's not one that's sort of based on sort of, you know, muscles and stamina and stuff like that, is it? I didn't think so.
If you've been through male puberty, you can't do chess.
No, so this is the kind of international body, FIDE, they're called FIDE. Don't ask me what it stands for, because
Fédération Internationale d'Échecs.
There you go. Thank you very much. I would have butchered that pronunciation, but no. So this is basically had this big ruling that said that trans people can't compete in whatever sex they say that they are and all the rest of it. And any titles that they've won, they have to give them back.
Right.
All the titles and stuff.
Okay.
It's big. It's quite a big thing. Interestingly, though, the English Federation, the Dutch one, the German one, and the Americans have all said no, they're not doing it. So it's caused a whole uproar. And like I said, I agree with you, Ben. This makes no sense to me because I can't see any kind of physical advantage in chess.
No, but there is, because men don't have the hormonal fluctuations that women have.
Well, some
yeah,
do.
I wonder if it's. I wonder if it's.
I don't know.
But it does affect your thinking.
Yeah, I suppose this is what they've
I see what you mean.
This is what they've said. It's based on a 2-year study to base. I think it's cognitive reasoning and all of these kind of skills and stuff to see if there is an advantage to it.
That's why I get frightened when I find out there's a female.
Well, I kind of happen to agree with one of the people from the English division or league or whatever they're called. They said that this was somewhat of the trans panic, and I do think that they've kind of latched onto something, which I do think is quite a funny phrase. But I know that chess has been rocked pretty heavily by sexism. There was a big open letter that was written by I think it's like 103 people have signed it or whatever, saying that the way women are treated in the sport is terrible and all the rest of it.
The sport of chess.
Yeah, it's not my field, okay?
There are many professionals. 103
apparently it's a huge thing.
Well,
It always makes me laugh when you talk about sports. It's always like, when you watch the darts and you go, look at this fantastic athlete.
Yeah.
That's
With a beer belly and a sing.
I was
The same shape as you.
I'm not joking. I was watching it once, and there was this bloke who just wasn't quite as obese. But like he had this shirt on, big medallion, hairy chest. They call him the ladies' man. But on a serious note, look, we do want to defend women, don't we, Ben? We do want to make sure that this whole sad situation where girls nowadays are all competing for 4th, 5th and 6th places in major competitions because the trans people get there first. But I'm not sure chess is...
No, it does sound like a game that's pretty universal, right? One that sort of cuts across all the boundaries, I would have thought.
Yeah, like I said, I do think this falls under trans panic. I do think this is somewhat of a... They have to be saying to do something.
Can I use that?
Yeah, it's not mine. It's not mine. I didn't make that phrase up. I wish I did, because it's a great phrase.
Look, don't. Can I tell you, Ben, as a regular contributor on this channel, don't bother with the trans panic. just go to the BBC for that. It's not a win. But, anyway, chess banned trans women? Is it true or is it false?
It's true.
I'm going to go with you.
It's true.
Absolutely true.
Oh my God.
Serial killer Levi Belfield is suing the government in a bid to overturn a ban on taking photos at his wedding in prison. Is it true or is it false? I mean, this is a real nasty piece of work, Levi Belfield.
Yeah.
Have you seen a picture of him?
Yeah.
In Private Eye, they used to show pictures of two people who looked a bit alike and then change the captions around.
That's right, yeah.
Looks just like Andre.
That's just like that.
And he had to sue the Home Office. And guess whose money he used to do that? Ours, taxpayers' money. Guess how much?
£30,000.
30 grand. Somebody's read the newspapers. It's the best thing on this show is not to read the newspapers. But 30 grand.
But look,
and now it's going to be another 30 grand to decide whether or not they can have photographs at their wedding inside the prison because of, we've got to protect the other prisoners. And
But Lord Monckton, let me ask you this, right? So I'm very sceptical about the European Convention on Human Rights and its integration into British law. I see no evidence of this human rights legislation helping ordinary people. When I was put under house arrest during the coronavirus pandemic, there was no human rights legislation
that's right.
then. But if I want to get Sky in prison after murdering someone, it seems to be all over the place. I hate this whole idea of the way that human rights seem to be only extended to the bad guys. Am I wrong in that?
Well, it's because the bad guys can get their cases paid for by the state.
Yes.
That's the big problem. Legal aid is very, very generous. If you have to do this yourself, I haven't got 30,000 to spend on a case. Most ordinary folk have, but of course the poor old taxpayer has to stump up every time. And that's the problem with that legislation. That's really why it's going to have to be repealed. It's the Human Rights Act 1998, which incorporated the legislation into the UK law. If you go back to when the Home Office and the Foreign Office first came into existence, which was about 300 or 400 years ago, when they divided the Council of the South and the Council of the North, which were the two councils that ran the whole of Britain, and they made the Home Office and the Foreign Office, each of them had only 6 clerks.
Right.
And if I were Prime Minister, which is not going to happen until the next election, at that time, we will go back to 6 clerks in each department, and then we can keep an eye on them and stop all these nonsenses happening. There is one good thing that did, for prisoners, that did come out of the human rights legislation.
Which is?
Which is that you used to have your bog in your cell.
Okay.
And that's pretty disgusting and extremely unhealthy. And I think it was a Scottish prisoner who said, actually, I don't think this is savoury. And so he did mount a case, again, at our expense, no doubt. And the judges were so appalled when they went to the prison and saw the disgususing conditions in which the prisoners were lived that they ordered that to stop.
So,
and so now throughout the United Kingdom, that is not
Okay, well, look, is Levi Belfield suing the government again? Is it true or is it false?
It's true.
It's true.
Absolutely true. Okay. Okay, what's the scores? Woke Wabbit. Okay, so what are the scores then?
500 points to Lois.
Yay.
And 1,000 points to Peter.
Yay!
That was The Woke That Was. Continues after the break. Welcome back to That Was The Woke That Was.
So everyone is talking about going vegan to save the planet. I've been out and about to find out why. Would you be willing to go vegan to save the planet?
Not at all.
Why not?
Because I love my steak, I love my burgers, my chicken, my sausages, my pork chops, my bacon.
Do you not find that vegan food's a bit rubbish?
No. Yeah. Depends on what...
Vegan food's rubbish?
Yeah.
Does it also cause a problem with flatulence?
Oh, God, yeah, ask him. Stink. Sorry.
I quite like Linda McCartney sausages if you wrap them in bacon.
I'm sure. I've never tried them myself, but I'll take your word for it.
Would you go vegan to save the planet?
No.
Is it because vegan food's crap?
Not necessarily, but I'm allergic to mushrooms.
You're looking good for 64.
Thank you.
Do you think that's all the meat eating? It's kept you healthy?
No, probably not. Because I've had a heart bypass and I've got diabetes, so probably not, no.
Isn't there an argument, though, for continuing to eat meat just to offend Greta Thunberg?
How dare you!
I always like whitebait because it's the maximum number of kills per plate.
No, whitebait. You can't eat heads.
All this talk of veganism has made me hungry. There's a lot of people now talking about eating bugs as your source of protein. It's not something I'd do. Is it something you'd do?
Not unless I was on a plane crash out in the wilderness somewhere, maybe.
I want to interview you now.
Go for it.
What do you think of global warming?
I think that the Earth warms and cools itself in a natural rate. We should be anti-pollution, but we shouldn't get too over the top. And I think there is a degree of hysteria, which is similar to the Luddites in the Victorian period. So in the halls of residence, is vegan flatulence a problem? In my day, they used to burn joss sticks to get rid of the smell of cannabis. Nowadays, I'm convinced it's the personal hygiene of Extinction Rebellion.
Yeah, probably is that, to be honest.
Are you concerned that vegans will put you out of business as a fish seller?
No.
I think actually sometimes we need to be less shrill in the media and panic much less. I think I've just pulled a muscle. Can you give me a massage? There we go. What do you think? Manly. Oh, don't go higher. Don't go higher. As far as I'm concerned, the most important thing that every animal needs is a proper burial. And believe me, later tonight in the toilet, he's gonna get one, baby.
Sorry, I didn't know I speak English. We come from Germany.
Oh, wow. We love Deutschland. Viva la Deutschland. That's not German, is it? Ich bin ein Television.
Yes.
Veganism.
Yeah, I see it, yes.
Helmut Kohl.
What?
Helmut Kohl.
I know understand.
Angela Merkel. This is my only German. Go on, have a chip. Have a chip. This is the taste of freedom. Here we go. Well done. I'll have a chip as well.
Oh, nice.
Would you go vegan to save the planet?
Yeah.
This has got to be popular.
Well, I'm fairly popular, but they're thinking of getting rid of me.
No, I wouldn't. I think you're doing an awesome job.
Yeah, but you don't know what this interview's supposed to be about.
I have no idea.
Neither do I.
We love TalkTV!
See, they're voting for us, they love us, they want to stay with us. This is TalkTV, yeah, baby. Listerine has brought a special mouthwash out to celebrate the LGBTQ community.
Oh my God. Oh God, help us.
That's right, gay mouthwash. What would that be used for, Pete?
On the advice of counsel, I refuse to answer that one. But do you know, I've been doing this show for about 47 episodes now, and every time you come up with one of these, I'm like, please don't be true. But sadly, I actually know quite a bit about this one.
You know about gay mouthwash, Pete? Do you?
How do they keep the rainbows in?
Well,
the liquid?
it's the
don't ask
plastic
about rainbows.
No, it's like that. It's like that. That toothpaste, wasn't it? That had three different.
Aquafresh.
Yeah. Aquafresh. That bemused me.
But no, this is quite an interesting one, really, because it's one of the very few examples of actually the LGBT community kind of saying enough's enough. You know, my favourite one of these was Marks and Spencer's. I think it was last Pride, where they had a LGBT sandwich, which was lettuce, bacon, guacamole, and tomato. And I just imagine people sitting with their parents around the dining room table and saying, "Mum, Dad, I'm guacamole." And I was just like, this is so pathetic. But
I'm coming out as guacamole.
I'm coming out as guacamole. But honestly, this thing with Listerine, it was actually interesting because there was actually quite a bit of a pushback saying enough's enough. But I'm sorry, to many in the LGBT community, you sold out. You sold out the pride flag. You sold out the history, the struggle, all the rest of it to the highest bidder, who was then going to turn it around and sell things back to you.
Yeah, but hang on a second, right? I don't mean to be rude, but wouldn't you sell out the struggle? Wouldn't you sell out the battle for liberty for really good party in Central? I mean, I'd be well for
the thing is, it's not even that good a party.
Get rid of the banners. Let's have some pints of vodka.
I think the best thing is the LGBTQ rainbow dreamies that I bought for my cat.
Oh God.
Why does a cat need LGBTQ dreamies?
I don't know. Ridiculous. It might be. Sorry, why does a cat need?
There isn't a punchline. Sorry.
But the answer to that is the Bud Light answer.
Yeah.
Stop buying the product. Yep. We no longer, my household, no longer goes to Marks and Spencer, and will never do so again.
Oh, Jesus, why?
Because of the LGBT sandwich. We're not having this nonsense. And the way to do it is to take your customs somewhere else.
Like with Costa.
Remember that we are in the huge majority here.
Yeah.
We love our LGBT mates dearly. Thou shalt love, that's the rule. But we're not going to be taken over by it, and we're certainly not going to have commercial interests exposing our children and our grandchildren, our nephews and nieces to this sort of rubbish. Yeah. So my advice to people is, let Marks and Spencer's know what you think of their LGBT sandwich, which was, in any case, inedible.
Yeah.
So you tried it?
By never again going to Marks and Spencer.
Lord Monckton.
Bud Light is going bust as a result of their trying to go woke. This is where we, ladies and gentlemen, have the power. Use it and stop going to Marks and Spencer.
I have a tenuous link to that, for sure, based on what the Lord has just said and dental products, right? Very short story. So when I was in the Navy and we were going away on deployment, I bought a pack of new briefs, OK? Didn't really look at them, and I don't wear briefs anymore anyway. But anyway...
I love how you just wanted to get that
right. But anyway, I put them on quite proudly in the morning after my shower before I got dressed, and all the lads called me Captain Colgate because of the stripes. I don't deal with Colgate anymore because of the PTSD, and so I would do the same with the mouthwash.
Okay.
Really quick. I just want to make one quick point on this. Do you know, we see all these companies over the last 2 months or so put the pride flag and everything. Where are these companies after what happened in Clapham? Just not far away from here. Where are these companies when something real happens? 2 people got stabbed outside a nightclub and a homophobic attack. Where are these companies right now? Where are all these politicians that pose at Pride and all the rest of it? They went silent after it. And this is one thing that I think the gay community has to actually start taking seriously now.
Is it true or is it false that Listerine has got a new LGBTQ product?
It's true.
It's got to be.
It's true.
Absolutely true. What is a woman? What is a woman?
I don't know, a nice woman is here, but none of you want a nice, a horrible woman, you know what I mean? What I'm saying, a nice woman is a lady, you know what I'm saying?
I think he's brought real clarity to the subject. Thank you. What is a woman?
A woman, in my description, is a wombed man. Woman, wombed man.
What is a woman?
Sexy.
Kiss the baby, there we go. What is a woman?
Sexy, empowering. Who run the world? Girls.
If you want to call yourself a woman on Tuesday and a man on Wednesday, if you want to go between the two, it's up to you.
We're talking about chromosomes. I didn't quite hear that. What was that?
Y, X and Y. Well, if X and Y, Y. Why am I man? Why am I man? Because you're Y. And why am I X? Because I'm an X.
I think you can be whatever you want to be. If you want to.
What if I was to say I want to be a horse? And by the way, believe me, I'm similar. Believe.
Anybody that wants to be a woman can be a woman.
Can I be a woman?
If you wanted to, you can be a woman.
Do I have to shave my back to be a woman?
Absolutely not. I've never shaved my back in my life.
A woman is a strong, independent person.
So I think a woman is somebody who's got and then oh, I'm so sorry. She can't understand. She can't understand.
But what's a man? And a there you go.
I just wonder that people don't know what a woman is anymore.
Well, no, but she obviously needs a womb of some kind, I would have thought.
If I kind of put a frock on now, would I be a woman?
Pretty good looking one, I'd say, yeah.
What is a woman?
What is a woman? This is a woman. This is my wife. This.
Right now, it's like a mental state. Like if you feel like that's what you're born and you're not happy with your body, I think that's what makes you a woman.
What is a woman?
A woman is something I have no idea.
What is a woman?
I am a woman.
Look, this is a sister from Mexico. Do you know what a woman is? If I wore a dress and shaved my back, would that make me a woman?
Well, what do you want to be?
Would you like to touch it?
Tap.
It's a little bit clammy. Now, I can't lie to you. I used to be a member of staff at the House of Commons. I previously worked for Margaret Thatcher, and this is what I'm doing for a living. What is a woman?
A woman? A woman's a female version of us, bro.
Female version of us? Look at that! Is it fair that somebody with a penis and testicles can define as a woman?
Yeah, of course. You can't do what want, mate. It's 2022. What generation are you living in, my guy?
The one before yours.
Why?
Who do you reckon's bigger?
Me, for sure, bro. Look at that, bro. It's just a bit smoother.
So I'm outside John Keats' talking about anatomy, half naked, and I've been told off by an Arsenal fan for being rude to people. How on earth has that ever happened? This is the life that I now lead, thanks to you at TalkTV. Today is one of the hottest days of the year, and TalkTV have idiotically sent me out on the streets of London to talk to people and find out all about climate change and how they're dealing with the hot weather. This is going to be brutal. I want to know whether you are worried about climate change and this hot weather.
Not at all, sir.
And what are you doing to deal with the hot weather?
I'm just wearing less clothing and keeping a bottle of water in my bag. It's very simple stuff.
What are you doing to mitigate the heat? I can see you stretching out.
I'm in a short and t-shirts. I'm drinking plenty of water, and I'm not worried about the overall effects of climate change. So I've got no children, and I'll be dead within 20 years.
So you're at the door of Bridget Jones's house. Are you worried about climate change?
Of course, we're all boiling over. I'm Ginger, I'm going to burn in this heat. I'm not going to live well.
Excuse me, I'm making a show about climate change. Are you worried about climate change?
No.
Are you worried? No, they're not worried about climate change. They're not worried about climate change. I don't think they were that keen to chat. Let's chat to some people this way. Now, I noticed there's a weather tattoo there.
Yeah.
Mind you, you've got Betty Boo as well.
Climate's been changing for how many billion years is it? And all this hysteria about a subtle heat wave, we've got some kind of emergency, it's man-made. Absolute nonsense. You know, we produce 1% of the CO2 in this country, and we're all buttoning down. CO2's only a tiny part of it.
What is the craziest idea anybody's given you to stay cool in the hot weather?
Like...
Would you put your head in the fridge to stay cool?
Sometimes I do.
The ice cream man said he'd put his head in the freezer.
As you see, I'm wearing shorts terrifying the neighbours with my lolly legs. And,
your legs are okay, actually.
Oh, great.
No, I think, but you don't hold the political views I would have expected from a man who wears sandals.
Yeah.
Are you concerned about the current hot weather and climate change?
Yes, I am concerned about the current hot weather and climate change.
Today is a beautiful day. You're having a nice beer in the sun. I think this is absolutely fabulous, and yet everybody believes they're going to die.
Yeah. Nobody believes they're going to die.
Are you worried you're going to die from climate change?
Yes.
When will you die?
Yeah.
We know nothing about the climate per se. Top professors will say this, and we're pretending we do, and we want to spend trillions trying to save the planet. Climate change is a bit like the human mind. We still don't know much about that, despite Freud and Jung.
You were on the show last week, and we don't know each other. We've just walked up to you.
That's right, correct.
OK, well, look, are you worried about climate change?
Who isn't? Who isn't?
Me. What would you say to me if I said to you that the reason the Ice Age was defrosted was global warming and Neanderthal man didn't have a 3-litre Volvo? Neanderthal man didn't have a 3-litre Volvo. They've struggled to explain that.
Very good point. Kevin, over to you. We were just talking.
They don't make a 3-litre Volvo.
There were no 2.5-litre Volvos then?
Point taken.
I've seen kids running round the streets, and I believe it's child abuse, by the way, running round the streets going, "You'll die of old age, we'll die of climate change."
Thank Greta Thunberg for that hysterical, economically illiterate Swedish teenager.
I mean, you've got people like Bono, who's always mouthing off about the climate and all that. As soon as they get off the mic telling us what to do, they're in their big Jags. And
do you believe that Greta Thunberg was right to go by yachts to America and fly her staff out on first-class planes?
No, complete contradiction in terms, isn't it? Let's figure, it's like the Davos crew. They all fly out in their chartered jets, you know, the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab and his bunch of dodgy compatriots.
I wasn't expecting him to say compatriots, if I'm being totally honest.
Comrade.
It's the reason you've not had children, because you're worried about it.
No, it's because I ain't had a proper sex life.
And why do you think you haven't had a proper sex life?
Because I'm an ugly.
Well, that's it. The end of the day. We've talked to loads of people about climate change. They have their idea for how to keep cool. I've got mine, and it's this. That was a soft drink. This is the deciding question.
The deciding
the
question.
Queen classic Fat Bottomed Girls has been banned from their re-released greatest hits album to avoid offending larger ladies. Is it true or is it false?
One for Lois, I think. She's a smaller lady.
Yeah, OK, so why is it one for Lois? Because she's a smaller lady?
Because you're not a
Is that
larger
because
lady.
you recovered it? Oh, OK, well, no, that's fine. No,
And my first piece of advice to anyone when they're getting married, discourage an interest in baking.
Yeah.
and don't let her go for a coffee with her mum once a week.
Have you
That will not end well.
have you ever seen much baking going on at my flat when you come round?
You weren't baking, no. but look, are we going too far, Lois? With all
We
this?
are. And Freddie Mercury would have thought this was absolute tosh, wouldn't he? I mean, Freddie, you know, I'm a massive Queen fan, massive Freddie Mercury fan, and unfortunately, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I know that this story is true, and nothing makes me sadder, to be honest. It really doesn't.
What I find interesting with this one is it's actually to do with a streaming service called Yoto, which is aimed at kids. So I do find this interesting now that
So trans is okay, but not having a big bottom.
Apparently so. This seems to be the kind of the problem I have with all these kind of people, like what's all right and what's not. But because what I find interesting is that this, I'm surprised it's taken it this long for fat bottom girls to come into question. But why is it now up to these companies to decide what your kids get to listen to and what they don't?
Yeah.
When didn't that used to be a parent's job?
Yeah,
like, I'm not a parent, but I imagine it's one of the main things is what you expose your kids to.
I think the sad fact is that parents are not empowered to be parents anymore. I blame the Children's Act. But anyway, is it true or is it false that fat-bottomed girls has been effectively banned?
It's true.
It's absolutely true.
Hey, no, that's not right.
And so now for the final score for the Woke Wabbit.
Come on, Wabbit.
Now, Woke Wabbit, I understand that you and Lord Monckton have got on very well together.
He's my best mate.
OK, give him a kiss. Give him a kiss. Go on. Go on. No tongues, no tongues. OK, so given that you got a cuddle from a genuine lord, who is the winner of this competition?
Lois and Monkey.
Yay! Congratulations to Lois and the Monkey. They get a dual 30-second tickling session with the Woke Wabbit. Until next time, goodbye.
Prime Minister, President Trump, Mr. President, First Lady, Stormy Daniels,
Jordan Peterson, welcome. It's something that really hurt me because they doubt of my word.
God, I'm such a softie. I've been a terrible liar. You're being a Karen.
Thought the marginalized were supposed to have a voice.
A woman is me. Wake up, people!
Piss Morgan on Sunset!